Sometimes there's things that need to be said, but maybe you're too scared to say it. I don't blame you. I'm scared too, but I'm going to say it anyway. Let me say this right off the top. What I'm going to talk about today is my opinion, and I understand it might be unpopular. You may disagree and think I'm an idiot. Well, you may be onto something there, but I can't help but feel this way. Just understand, I know I'm in the minority here, and I'm just expressing my opinion. So just get on with it already. If you've been watching aquarium videos on YouTube for any length of time, you've undoubtedly been on the same roller coaster ride I've been on. Go back 6 or 7 years and you'd see everyone in the fish keeping community uploading exciting, fun, and engaging videos. Fish keeping on YouTube was booming, everything was fresh, and new people couldn't get enough of the fish. And then COVID happened. You might think that with a worldwide pandemic, it would have had a devastating impact on the simple little hobbies like fish keeping, and you'd be wrong. Everyone was trapped in their houses and needed to find something they could do that didn't require them to leave the house. They didn't need to be around other people wearing silly little masks and didn't have the threat of getting sick. The aquarium hobby exploded overnight. Now, I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. Being a content creator during the lockdowns meant you could pretty much do anything and tons of people would watch it. For us personally, it was particularly crazy because we had started doing our list videos in December of 2019, and once the pandemic hit, those videos were perfectly positioned to completely take off. And they did. We'd put up a list video every Sunday like clockwork, and everyone would just eat them up. For quite some time, I felt like I could do no wrong, and finally, after 8 years, figured this YouTube thing out. But it wasn't just me. Every content creator at the time felt it. There were channels taken off right and left, and the truth is, you could almost upload anything and people would watch it. As dark and grim as the scenario was, and as confidently as I could say, I don't know anyone that wouldn't give it all back if we could snap our fingers and make the pandemic go away, this was a good time to be a content creator. I am well aware of how horrible that sounds, but I hope you understand what I mean. The pandemic brought in millions of people to the fish keeping hobby, and every idiot with an iPhone was putting up content trying to be the next Joey Mullen. But did it last? Of course not. As the pandemic slowed down and life started to get back to normal, the hobby did continue to flourish for a while. All those people that came in because they were in prison stayed in and kept going for quite some time. But if you've been in this hobby, you know there's a life cycle to most fish keepers. For everyone that gets into aquariums, it's pretty much the same story, but it's how the individual stories end that's different. Someone sees an aquarium and for whatever reason thinks it's cool and decides to get one. They bring it home, set it up, and of course go to YouTube to learn about their new hobby. On YouTube, they find that this is an incredibly huge world of fish, plants, equipment, and aquascapes, and the potential for fun and enjoyment is unlimited. It's a whole world right there in a glass box, and it's one of the most exciting things ever. This person starts to see all the different fish types that are out there, and they start seeing things that they want to do. The problem is, this fish won't go with that fish. This fish eats plants, and those plants won't go without CO2. They end up saying, I need to get a few more tanks so I can explore these other things, and I need to get that fancy equipment if I want to do it right. Next thing you know, this person has 8 tanks of all different shapes and sizes with all the fish, plants, and invertebrates you can think of. Life is good. Until it's not. We all know what happens next, right? You've probably been through this or know someone who has, but this is the most critical moment in the fish keeping hobby. It's that point where the hobby either becomes too overwhelming and you just quit, or realize this is a lifesaver that you're obsessed with and you keep on going. This is something that almost always happens at that 1.5 to 2 year mark. Now let's look at the timeline here. The bulk of the pandemic, where everyone was locked down or didn't feel like leaving the house because they didn't want to wear masks, was from early 2020 to about mid 2021, depending on where you live. I still see people wearing masks to this day. Well, you have this period of about a year and a half where this hobby saw a massive uptick in the amount of people coming in. But as we discussed, a huge amount of those people are going to end up bailing out at the year and a half to 2 year mark. This means that 2022 all the way through 2024, you had masses of people getting out of the hobby and moving on to other things. I've watched it happen. I've seen the decline, and it's made me crazy knowing I couldn't do anything about it. This was an unstoppable wave. Anyone that's a fish keeping creator on YouTube has felt this. It's been a constant decline, basically since 2022. And if I'm being honest, it's been one of the hardest things to deal with. Now, I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about success. Ask any YouTuber and they'll tell you there's no better feeling in the world than when your channel's doing well. I would imagine it's similar to the high you get on heroin, but with that, there's also the flip side. When things aren't going well, there's nothing worse. I've spent the last 3 years saying to myself, well, it is what it is, and there's nothing I can do about it. But then, a few weeks ago, I had an epiphany. What if I'm wrong? I mean, I'm not wrong about people leaving the hobby. Just look at Facebook Marketplace and see all the tanks for sale if you don't think that people are leaving. No, I'm talking about YouTube. What if I'm wrong about why people aren't watching as many fish keeping videos anymore? What if it's our fault? Before I move on to this next point, let me reiterate. This is my opinion as to the state of the fish keeping content creator space on YouTube. I'm not calling anyone out here, and I'm certainly not saying anything that doesn't apply to me as much as anyone else. I am just as guilty of this as anyone. The epiphany I had is people not watching as much fish keeping content anymore is not the result of COVID people leaving the hobby. It's our fault. What do I mean by that? Well, it's simple. Fish keeping content on YouTube right now is a mind-numbing, boring, sleep-inducing snooze fest across the entire platform. Every creator is doing the same things. I got a new fish. I did a new aquascape. I'm going to unbox these fish that I bought from this place. I got new substrate. And the problem is there's thousands of videos on the platform that are all the exact same thing. 5 years ago, everything we did was kind of still new and fresh. Now, everything that gets put out there is the same old lame crap. No one's doing anything original anymore. How many videos does there need to be about the aquarium cycle? How many top 10 lists of your favorite tetras does there need to be? It's all the same stuff, and in my opinion, it's incredibly boring. And don't get me started on live streams. You want to talk about a bunch of nonsense that'll help you fall asleep at night? Turn on any fish keeping live stream on the platform. I struggle with live streams personally because the entire time I'm doing it, I'm thinking to myself, why would anyone sit through this? Why would anyone put themselves through this hour-and-a-half long thing that's about as entertaining as a funeral? Again, I'm not singling anyone out here. This is just as much my fault as any other channels. In fact, I actually am going to single one out. I'm going to point the finger at someone that's fallen to complacency and boring episodes of just going through the motions. Me. Lisa is a huge part of this YouTube channel, but I'm the one that contributes about 90% of the creativity. I've found myself reflecting all this and thinking, what can I do? I've tried everything and nothing seems to work. I feel like I have a 50-foot thick concrete wall between me and anything creative. It might just be time to give up. Do you think I am? Ha. Well, if you answered yes, you don't know me very well. And I got to give credit where credit's due. A couple of weeks ago, during one of our incredibly dull and boring Friday night live streams, Leslie Perry sent in a $20 super chat with these words: "Bring back Tanks of Our Lives." Damn you, Leslie. I haven't stopped thinking about this since. If you've never heard anything about the Tanks of Our Lives series we did, this was a series of only 7 videos where Lisa and I played characters. Their characters were Karen and Steve, and we acted out scenarios that are very common in fish keeping. Basically, Steve was the big dummy that made all the mistakes, and Karen corrected him on it. Not a complete departure from real life, if I'm being honest. This was without a doubt the most fun we've ever had in the entire 13 years we've been creating content on YouTube. So why did we stop it? Well, at the time we were known for list videos, and that's really all anyone cared about, so these kind of got lost. We put an incredible amount of time into these videos, and because they weren't list videos, unfortunately no one watched them. But I will say this, with the exception of a few uptight people that don't like having any fun, the feedback we got on them was overwhelmingly positive. So guess what? Thanks to Leslie Perry and all the other people in the chat that night that were saying, yeah, bring back Tanks of Our Lives. We're bringing it back. And I don't think I could be any more excited. I'm still not certain we're actually going to call it Tanks of Our Lives because, let's be honest, anyone under the age of 60 really doesn't even get the Days of Our Lives reference. So I don't know. We might not call it anything at all. These are videos where Lisa and I will be pushing the boundaries of what you've come to expect from aquarium content. Some of them will be funny, some might be sad, and yeah, some of them might even make you mad. But there's one thing I can guarantee, and that's that you'll be entertained. And you won't be getting the same boring nonsense you've come to expect from this channel. Yeah, we'll still be doing product reviews and tutorials, but we want to bring the fun back and do something completely different. And the first episode, it's going to be a doozy. It's going to be a great example of pushing the boundaries. I'll be playing the role of a journalist who's been given the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to interview the CEO of a major pet store chain. Obviously, the role of CEO is going to be played by Lisa. It's an episode that is guaranteed to ruffle some feathers, but hey, it's time to take our thumbs out of our asses and have some fun. I'll see you then. Bye.